Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephanie. I'm back today with another video again. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about personal statements. So I'll be giving tips on writing a personal statement, my experience on writing my personal statement, and I hope this video helps you guys out. The reason I'm making this video is that I had a viewer comment below and ask me if I can make a video about personal statements. So here it is. If you're interested, keep watching and enjoy. Thanks. Talk to you guys soon. Bye. Alright, so you've started your CASP application and now you have to write a personal statement. So personal statement is really important to your CASPA application. It's probably going to be one of the most important pieces of writing that you're going to write in your entire career. It's going to help you get your foot in the door to be able to get an interview and also to be eventually admitted. So I can't stress enough how important it is. So the topic, why do you want to become a physician assistant? Why do you want to become a PA and not a doctor? Why do you want to become a PA and not a nurse, a dentist, or an x-ray tech or anybody else? Why did you choose to become a PA? So ask yourself this question. Why do I want to become a PA? What is my drive to become a physician assistant? When writing your personal statement, always make sure that you write from your heart. So examine yourself and ask yourself, once you become a PA, what are you gonna do? And once you know the reason why you want to become a PA, write that down. So in your personal statement, the reader can assess multiple things about you. They can tell about your communication skills, your personal skills, and your experience, and most importantly, the reason why you want to become a PA. So that's why it's really important that you make sure that you connect with your audience. In this case, it's going to be the admissions committee or the individual who's reading your personal statement. You want to make a connection with the individual. So how do you do this? So you do this by grabbing their attention. Whether it is you start your introduction with a personal story. So ask yourself, is there any story that you have that made an impact on you? Whether it was something you had to overcome that helped you become a better individual, whether it was a patient that you work with that made an impact on you, write about that. So basically, write about something that the admissions committee doesn't know about you, that you want them to know about you. And that's another tip also. Don't reiterate your CASPA application. I can't stress it enough. Don't reiterate it. If the admissions committee or the individual who is reading your personal statement wants to know more about you, all they have to do is just go back to your CASP application and look through it. You don't have to talk about it again in your personal statement. All the personal statement is what you want to tell the individual. Basically, what sets you apart in comparison to all the other applicants in comparison to you? What makes you shine? I know there was, for example, I have an individual who I used to work with at the hospital. He wanted to become a PA, but when he spoke, he stuttered. And so I remember that he thought that this was going to prevent him from being accepted to PA school. And when writing his CASP application, he actually turned this weakness that he thought he had into a strength. Basically, how is this stutter that he has going to make him become a better PA? And how he's able to overcome this to be able to better communicate with patients and other medical staff. So it doesn't always have to be something positive about your life. It can be something negative, for example, in this case. For my experience, I started my introduction with a quote that I feel that I live my life by, and I want to be able to live my life by as a PA. One of the reasons why I want to become a PA. So it's a quote by Anne Frank. And the quote says that no one has ever become poor by giving. So by this quote, I was able to grab their attention, and in the introduction, I was able to give a little bit more information about how this quote is important to me. Being that I grew up with my family immigrating from Mexico to the US, I saw the struggles that they had to overcome living in a foreign country, and the obstacle that they had of having access to healthcare, how expensive healthcare is, and also the language barriers that existed back then and exist now currently. So I was able to give a preview in the introduction with this quote about why I want to become a PA and basically what I've done to become PA. So that's what my introduction was. I started with a quote to grasp their attention, and I gave a small preview about what my paper was going to be about. So you don't have to use my examples. Like I said, other individuals began their introduction with stories, and this is how they were able to grasp their audience's attention. Another tip that I have is that presentation, the way you present yourself, the way you present your personal statement is really important. So presentation is the key. Another thing, grammar, of course, very important. When writing my personal statement, I reviewed it over and over again. I had other individuals I work with, whether it was PAs, x-ray technicians, nurses I work with, look over my personal statement to make sure that I didn't have any mistakes, any grammar errors, or if I may have stated something that was incorrectly, etc. So once this was done, I still felt that my personal statement wasn't good enough. So what I did is that I went to the palife.com, which I will leave the link below, and I submitted my personal statement and had them also look over it. I paid $135, but I was able to get 2 revisions, so they looked over it and they edited it. And finally, after that revision, I felt that my personal statement was strong enough and it didn't have any errors or any grammar errors, so I submitted it. So once again, get somebody to look over your personal statement. I recommend the PA Life. It's a little pricey, but it's really worth it. And I thought they did an excellent job in looking over my personal statement and editing it. I thought they did a great job. So I really, really recommend them. Since the personal statement is really important for your application, I really recommend it. You want it to be as perfect as it can be, because I can't stress enough. It's going to be probably one of the most important things you're going to write in your entire life. Another thing that I don't recommend is using big words. I know you want to sound intelligent, articulate, but don't use big words. You will not impress the staff or the admissions committee with your big words. Be humble. Be humble and write from your heart. Ask yourself, why do you want to become a physician assistant? So, going back to my personal statement, I then proceeded to write in the second paragraph. This is where I discussed a life event that I had and my experience with the medical system or the healthcare system that exists. And I stated how my family struggled having access to healthcare. I also discussed the language barriers that exist between patients and medical staff. For example, my family being that they didn't speak English too well, so they had trouble understanding what the provider was trying to tell the patient or trying to tell them. They didn't understand what they were saying, and how it was really hard to try to find an individual to translate or an individual who spoke Spanish. So I addressed this and how I served as a translator for my family. I then proceeded to state how this experience has shaped my views for my medical career, how I hopefully in the future want to be able to work with these areas, these underserved areas that lack providers that are bilingual, that speak Spanish. Being that I am bilingual, I want to be able to work with these communities to hopefully get rid of these disparities that exist, to be able to speak to them in their own language so that they can understand. So this is how I proceeded to talk about that in my personal statement. After that, once you've addressed a personal event that you've had or a life event that you feel that's impacted you, I would then suggest to proceed what you have done to become more involved in the PA career. And this is what I did. So in the following paragraph after that, I talked about how I was introduced into the PA career, how I learned what the PA career was, and how I learned that this is what I wanted to do, is become a physician assistant, and a physician assistant only, not a doctor or a nurse or etc. So with this paragraph, I was able to give them more information about my personal experience that I had working with PAs and how I was able to work in a variety of healthcare settings with a variety of healthcare populations. So after this paragraph, I then proceeded to talk about, after stating my personal experiences of why I want to become a PA, how I was introduced to the PA career, I then started to talk about what I did. So my next step, what I did to become a PA. So now that I knew I wanted to become a PA, because of my past experiences, my motivation that I had, and because I've worked with them and I know what the career is, I then started to talk about my schoolwork. So what I've done, since like I said, don't reiterate what your CASP application has, I just basically talked about the gratitude I had serving underserved areas. So how did I do that? I did it by community service, so I talked about my community service. I also talked about the obstacles I've had throughout my academic years, how I had to work overnight in order to attend school during the day and in order to be able to pay for my tuition. So I addressed this also in that paragraph. I also talked about the research I did, how this research helped me gain critical thinking skills, which is really important for PA school. So once I've had all the body done, so once I've had my introduction and I've stated the reasons why would I want to become a PA, what drives me and my motivation to become a PA, which is through my life experience that I've had, how I was introduced into the healthcare field, my experience working in the healthcare field, the obstacles I had to overcome, and also other qualities I feel that I have that will enable me to become a better physician assistant. So once I've addressed all of this, basically talking about myself and making me shine, I then wrote my conclusions. So once I've had all that done, it's time for your conclusion. Your conclusion is also really important as your introduction. Your introduction is trying to grasp your reader's attention, trying to draw them into your personal statement, not have them read it and okay, next application. You want to draw them into your personal statement. So once you've had your introduction written, then it's your conclusion. So what is your conclusion? Your conclusion, you're basically going to wrap up everything nicely. So your conclusion, you're going to reiterate, why do you want to become a PA? What motivates you to become a PA? And from your experience, what skills you have or abilities you have that you've gained that will enable you to become a better PA and to success in PA school. And overall, also, once you become a PA, what you will do. So I'll show you my conclusion, just so you can look at it. I'll also show you my introduction of how I wrote my PA school application. PA personal statement. And basically, these are my tips for writing a personal statement. Like I said, make sure you make yourself shine. Think about what you want to tell your audience or the admissions committee about yourself that they don't know already from reading your CASP application. Write from your heart and be humble. Ask yourself, why do I want to become PA? In my case, like I said, it was to be able to work with the Latino community. And that's my drive, is to be able to work with these areas that are underserved, that lack medical providers, areas that are rural. Being that I am from Texas, I've seen the lack of medical providers that exist in southern Texas. So I hope to be able to hopefully work in these areas in the future. These areas tend to have a large number of individuals who are Hispanic, with one of the reasons of them not accessing healthcare is because they don't have medical insurance, and also because of a language barrier that exists. So being a bilingual provider, I hope to get rid of this. So this is just my tips. If you have any questions or concerns or comments or anything like that, just feel free to comment below. I hope you guys like this video. So once again, I can't reiterate it anymore. I'm going to put it all together. Your personal statement is going to be the most important thing you're going to write your entire medical career. So you're going to make sure that it's the best that you can have it. Revise it as much as you can. Have other individuals revise it. Like I said, I had multiple individuals look over it. I had my professor look over it, and I still thought that wasn't enough. I paid somebody to look over it and edit it. So you want it as perfect as it can be. Ask yourself, why do you want to become a PA? Like I said, your grammar is really important. Also, don't use big words, and don't reiterate your CASPA application. I can't stress this enough. Don't talk about what they know already. If they want to know more about you, all they have to do is just look at your CASPA application. So just talk to them about something that they don't know from reading your CASPA application, something that makes you stand apart from other individuals. Whether it's something that you think it's your weakness, then turn that around and make it something positive. Whether it's a life event that you've had to overcome, then state that in your personal statement, something that is not in your CASPA application. And good luck, guys. Good luck. And keep going at it. Talk to you guys later. And once again, if you guys have any questions or concerns, feel free to comment below. I'll leave my email below if you want to ask me directly a question, okay? Alright guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later. Bye.